Welcome to Lily Leaf 11. Today I'm excited. I have Amma here, entrepreneur and author of Silence to Soaring. Welcome, Amma. How are you?
I'm doing great. So happy to be with you today.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you here today because, you're this amazing speaker that is supporting so many people out there at the moment. And we're creating, like I like to call it New Earth, just because there's no words for it. I mean, some people will
Yes.
say the fifth dimension. There's all, there is a lot of different labels for it, but it's about empowering ourselves and shining our true light and really just becoming who we can be in this reality. We don't need to dim our light anymore. We don't need to be silenced. We really need to bring our voices out and be these incredible beings that we are, because sometimes this reality kind of squashes souls. It's like this container, this illusion that makes us think that we're not good enough and that we're not these amazing eternal multidimensional beings. So I'm so pleased you're here. So thank you for joining me. So did you have, was there a time when you had a big awakening, or did you kind of just have little increments, or, or you just kind of felt this within you this whole time?
Thank you so much. So I think that most of us go through small steps to awakening where we recognize who we are meant to be or born to be versus who we were raised to be. And so for me, it's been an ongoing process. So, for example, I have immigrant parents from Ghana who really had this. My father had this path laid out for me to be this high powered investment banker and then lawyer to investment bankers. And I did everything they told me to do, right? I studied hard in elementary to do well in middle school, to be valedictorian in middle school, to get into a good high school, to get into a good college, went to Harvard and UPenn Law and Wharton for my MBA and took a job in finance. Like, just doing the formula that was laid out to me. And I think quitting my day job to explore what I could be as an author was one of my major awakenings, because I was there in this corporate law job. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but I'm someone who has a personality and who loves people. So staying in an office, writing bond disclosure about the 8% bond due in 2035, I was capable of doing it. Let's say I was competent enough to do it, but did it light me on fire? Was it the best use of my unique gifts as a human being? Absolutely not. So when I quit my job and became an author and started engaging in storytelling and doing workshops, that was one major aspect of my awakening. And I'm just so grateful that it has now been 11 years. And of course, I'm still standing as an entrepreneur and can't even imagine a day job. So that was certainly one really amazing part of my awakening. And then I would say my second awakening came through my divorce. As I mentioned, I'm on a mission to establish the silent treatment as a form of abuse. And my ex-husband had given me the silent treatment on our honeymoon. And it was about every 2 months, he would not speak to me for about 2 weeks. And one time it lasted about 3 months. And it was just horrible. But I had been so conditioned. Stay for the kids, stay for the kids, try and make it work. It was almost like my identity as being a good girl or a good woman was tied up in the marriage. And it wasn't until the 15th anniversary, when I got the silent treatment again, that all of a sudden it was like I came out of a trance in which I realized, uh-oh, this silent treatment is on purpose. Before, I thought maybe it was a mental health issue, maybe it was depression, maybe I thought it was miscommunication and it was misunderstanding. But I felt like God just said, oh my Lord, like God just told me, this is not a miscommunication issue. It's not a depression or mental health issue. It's an intentional choice to control, dominate, and manipulate. And I woke up. And even at that time, like, he gave me a look. And this is someone I've been married to for 15 years. But this look was so filled with toxic energy that I ran from the living room to the bedroom, closed the door, dropped down on my knees, and cried and prayed for hours, pleading with God to deliver me from the situation. And that started a healing journey. So I would say, again, we're constantly, hopefully, if we're on a journey, don't get me wrong. Some people are literally avoiding themselves through alcohol, drugs, porn addiction, gambling. So some people are hardly, they're not on the journey because they're too busy numbing. But for those of us who are not numbing, I believe that we're going through a series of events to awaken us to who we were meant to be.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that story. Yeah, I mean, to start with, it's so interesting how a lot of that families and cultures are so adamant about um, asking you or telling you that this is who you have to be. So you're kind of told that this is your conditioning. This is you have to be this powerful, leader, or which I think in some ways that's great that they have this vision of you. But at the same time, it's like, is that really you? Is that who you really want to be? And I love that you kind of, I mean, you tried it, you did it. But then you said to yourself, hang on, now I want to try something new and move, shift to a different energy. But at the same time, obviously you can bring in all of these things into your job. You can bring that kind of spiritual layer into anything you do, but sometimes you just know that this is not me. This is not my passion. This is not my true calling. This is not my gift. And I love how you're sharing about, your, relationship with your partner, because sometimes we just don't see it. It's almost like, we're stuck in this it's like a fish. I'm seeing like a fishbowl. We're stuck in this fishbowl, and other people can see it, but you can't really. It's all kind of a bit of blur trying to look outside. You can't really see it when you're in it, and it takes such strength to really realign and say, "Hey, this isn't working for me anymore." But I'm glad you explained that, because I was wondering if it was these people were stuck in survival consciousness. Like they're in, that's when you're saying the addictions and all of this stuff. They're in such survival. They're not aligned to their true self. So they're not feeling good. They're not feeling that energy, that oneness that we truly are. But at the same time, there are people that have, even their brains haven't developed fully, like their frontal lobes haven't fully developed. So they're in this kind of state of, not having the awareness. And then I have seen a lot don't even have their chakras in alignment, so that
Sure,
it's almost like you can't say your chakras are blocked, because pretty much you're dead. But, like
sure,
sometimes,
sure, sure.
it's like shut down completely, but sometimes people shut off their emotions. So there's
Yeah,
a lot of people
yeah.
out there that don't have that emotional integrity. But yeah, I'm so pleased that, you saw that. And this is nice, really, nice to shine the light for others. So what would be a tip, like, if people are in this situation, how do we get out of it?
So I'm glad you asked that question. When I was there on my knees, pleading God for deliverance, because it was sometimes we have positive spiritual experiences. Like I would say, giving birth for me, I've given birth twice, and both have been like amazing, magical, supernatural experiences, positive supernatural experiences. What I experienced that day, crying on my knees, pleading with God for deliverance, was a negative supernatural experience where I felt almost that like hell, fear, is the worst vibration or consciousness like I could ever imagine. And like it felt like hell. Like that it was a short look. And I know this is like some people may not even understand it, but it was just a look. And through that look, there was this vibration of hell that I had to flee from and ask for deliverance. But now let's get back to the journey and how we get out of it. I then knew that it was spiritual warfare. That's what came to my mind. It's like, oh my goodness, this is spiritual warfare. So I Googled then narcissism and spiritual warfare and came across an incredibly powerful video by Melanie Tanya Evans. And it was called like Narcissism and the War for Your Soul. And in it, she describes this. And this is, I pray that this is a gift to your listeners. Narcissistic abuse is the result of idolatry. And this was an awakening for me in understanding this. Melanie Tanya Evans described almost making her ex-husband an idol, where she was willing to go through all this pain and all this harm to stay in the relationship. Although I didn't look at my ex as an idol, it's like I looked at the institution of marriage as an idol, because it was tied up in that identity of being a good girl and doing everything right, which was my survival mode. In my childhood, my other siblings got spankings. They got beatings, they got verbal abuse. I was always on the straight and narrow. You just looked at me the wrong way and raised your voice a little, and I'd be on the floor crying in agony. So no one should hit me, because it's like you already got the result from just screaming at me. And so I realized I had made an idol of that. We all, as you are mentioning, are connected to the Most High God. The Most High God should be our only God. We should not be so preoccupied with keeping a job that we allow ourselves to be harmed and killed, and we are not good stewards over ourselves because we think this job is so important. We should not be so tied to a relationship, a marriage, a boyfriend, girlfriend. We should not be so tied to anything that we allow ourselves to suffer. There's the Most High God, and that's it. All around us, we see forms of idolatry. We see people making an idol out of marriage, see them making an idol out of jobs, of positions, people selling their souls, sleeping with people just to get a promotion, to get a record deal, etc. I mean, the list goes on. And so a deep part of my awakening, and what I would say that I pray everyone at some point gets to a point where they recognize those idols in their lives and they cast them out. That to me is a true path to awakening.
Yes, I've always been fascinated with that, because I've never understood the idols. I've just never. I've been like, but why? Why are you not like caring about yourself more? It's like, we've been taught to care about others, the outside world, everything else, rather than ourselves. And I think that's just the way this reality has been created, isn't it? But I mean, yeah, crazy game we are playing, honestly. But it's
And
so
a
good.
dangerous
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
And
it's
a
so good. We're
dangerous
finally waking up to it. Because the reflections that are coming back to us now, because it's got so crazy out there now, everybody's finally seeing it. We didn't want to get to this point, but I think this is the only way we were going to wake up.
Exactly. It had to a certain extent get so bad for us to wake up. And again, I'm not blaming people. I think that we need to have some compassion for ourselves, but we can have compassion for ourselves while still holding ourselves accountable. So in my case, for so many years, I thought I could handle it. I thought, and I also had hope. And Melanie Tanya Evans said it in her video, which I appreciated. Many of us in the higher consciousness community are deceived to a certain extent. We think that if we just keep on focusing on the positive, if we just keep on being loving and including others, etc., everything will be fine. I don't believe that's the case. We need to incorporate in our higher consciousness thinking the concept of stewardship and boundaries, of fierce stewardship for ourselves and our energy, and boundaries to prevent ourselves from being or falling victim to negative frequencies and negative energies. And that is something that I was not recognizing, partially because I didn't realize how dangerous it was. I thought, okay, I can be a good woman and stay in this marriage up until my little son's 18th birthday. So I'd have that big accomplishment of I stayed for the kids until they reached the quote unquote adult age. I didn't realize in the process, I could completely die until that day on the 15th anniversary. And so I would implore people to recognize, yes, we have our vision boards. Yes, we pray. Yes, we focus on the positive, but please incorporate into your life and your spiritual practice strong boundaries, because there are negative frequencies, there are negative vibrations, there are people who are in a fear, lust, anger consciousness that can harm us if we are not protecting ourselves. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, because I was always like that. Just focusing on the love and the light, and it's basically, I mean, some people call it spiritual bypassing, but it's basically you're
Yes.
just ignoring really what's going on. The thing is, it's like you don't want to be feeding the fear, you don't want to be feeding the anger and the worry, the sadness. You want to be aware of it all, though. You want to be acknowledging
Yes.
it, giving yourself
Yes.
that compassion and that love, and then being the observer. So being in that state of, you can be in neutrality if that's easier, and you observe it and you take yourself out of it and you look and you say, is this working for me? Is this working for my community? Is this working for my family? Is this working for the world? And then you can see, no, it's not working. So what are you going to do about it? So yeah.
Thank you. Absolutely, 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 absolutely. Is this working for me? I want people to stop feeling as if they need to be a martyr and recognize the importance of the stewardship of their physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, and the value of alignment and integrity. And if a relationship, if a job, if anything is not aligned, if it is causing you over and over again not to be integrity with your own values, then it's time for you to consider getting rid of that, terminating it, removing it from your life.
Yeah, because if we're just feeding all of the lower energies, if we're miserable, if we're
Yes.
stressed,
Yes.
we're just creating even more of it. Who wants to feed these lower energies now? No, thanks. I don't want to give them my energy.
And I think we are literally feeding the lower energies,
Yeah.
meaning if you are in a relationship with someone who is not in a vibration of love, care, wisdom, collaboration, and is in a vibration of lust, fear, control, domination, and manipulation, the person very often is harvesting your energy. You don't want that. You deserve to be a sovereign being who is putting energy into the places you wish to push it and who's not being harvested through those toxic relationships.
Yeah, it's time to take our power back for sure and start to shine our light. Yeah, because we really do not want to release. We've got such this amazing power, this incredible energy. We are these beautiful souls. But if we just keep giving our energy away, we're just going to just get stuck in this loop forever and ever of feeding that old cycle, feeding the old narrative. It's time to step out of it. It's time to get out of surviving and really start to thrive. So I love to tune in now. Like I was always scared to tune into my feelings, my thoughts, what words was I saying to myself? And now I find it so empowering to tune in. What are my thoughts? Are they even my thoughts, or are they the collective's thoughts? Are they my partner's thoughts, or some random thought form that's flying around and I'm attracting it
Sure,
because I'm thinking that
sure,
about myself. So
sure.
it's so honestly so empowering to tune in and ask yourself, is this for me? Is this right for me? Are these words empowering me, or are they disempowering me?
100%.
Can I release them? Can I exchange my thoughts? Can I give myself compassion and love? What do I need to upgrade my life? And it's not like you have to upgrade in a way where you need more money or you need more this or more that. Well, that comes with it all, but it's more
100%.
of starting off with, giving yourself that compassion and kindness and love, unconditional love, because we've all made mistakes. We all have.
Absolutely.
This is the
Absolutely.
name of this game. It's not about being perfect.
100%. Yes, yes, yes.
There's no way you can be perfect in this reality. It's like,
100%, 100%. You cannot. I love what you're saying about giving yourself grace, and also, as you mentioned, we are interested in up leveling our consciousness and recognizing that the lesson will be repeated until it is learned. The lesson will be repeated until it will be
mm,
learned. So,
I got
for
the chills.
example, no, no, 100%.
Yeah.
So when I went through this process, so I'm there on the floor, tears, crying, pleading for deliverance, singing spiritual music, gospel songs. And so then I had to start the journey of one recognizing what was going on, recognizing the silent treatment as abuse in the book. And I described the silent treatment, or I defined the silent treatment as a sudden withdrawal of communication and emotional connection without warning, typically for over 24 hours, paired with hostile, angry energy. And finally, when the person comes back and does not repair. In a higher consciousness loving relationship, there may be something called a cool off period where someone is triggered. They recognize they're triggered. They're able to get to that prefrontal cortex, get to higher executive functioning and say, oh my goodness, I'm triggered. I need 24 hours to process this. They go, they think about it, they come back. This hurt my feelings when you're able to have a conversation, you're able to move forward. Not everyone is there. Some people may get triggered. They may have some sort of fight, freeze, fawn reaction. They may run off. They may somehow detach where their eyes seem glazed over and they're not there. But when they come out of it, they're still able to have a conversation of repair. In these silent treatment toxic dynamics, there's actually no conversation. The person gets upset with you for saying, but why weren't you talking to me for 2 weeks? They may say, I don't know what you're talking about. You're making this up. They may say you're crazy. They may say, why are you so unforgiving? You're always just bringing up the past. Stop living in the past and let's just move on. Like, they may literally make these sort of excuses up in order to avoid a meaningful, mature, and conscious conversation. And so when you are stuck in these dynamics, it's incredibly painful because the silent treatment targets the same pain centers as physical violence. As human beings, we are herd creatures, right? When you look at babies and they do experiments in labs where the baby's there giggling and smiling at his or her mommy, and the mommy usually smiles back and laughs back. When the baby starts doing that and the mom has a frozen expression, the babies literally start freaking out. They start screaming. They start going frantic because it signals a lack of connection, which could mean death for a baby. Babies need to be fed. Their diapers need to be changed. They need hugs and cuddles and connection. And so we as human beings are wired for emotional connection. That type of withdrawal signals danger. And so it causes this panic among its victims. And then we see that's where the control comes in, because now the person is trying to avoid that reaction, so is walking on eggshells. You've mentioned several times that we all are here on divine assignments to spread our light. When a person is walking on eggshells in his or her home or their home, unable to speak freely, unable to express themselves, that is serious dimming of the light, and it has horrific consequences.
Mm. It's always fascinating to me how I feel like these kind of souls are so powerful. Like the light
Mhm.
workers, the star seeds, the ones that get caught up in these situations. It's like they're such powerful souls that they step into this reality to try and make a difference, to try to shine their light, to try to break the loops of the past. And they're so strong to get, to come in and do this. But it must be so challenging to be, once you're here, to be stuck in that loop, that cycle, and you can't see how incredible you are, and you don't know how to even begin to get out of it, especially when you've got the children as well, because you're like, I need to care for my children. I need to feed my children. My children need to be safe. So you put them before yourself as well. I could only imagine.
100%,
Yeah.
100%, 100%. 100%. I mean, and in my case, again, I have compassion for myself while still holding myself accountable. I had tried to leave the relationship twice, and every time I would leave, he would cause a medical emergency or an ambulance would show up. So of course I was scared. Now later on when I went to domestic violence therapy, like apparently this is the oldest trick in the book. Like the domestic violence therapist was like, "Oh, he did that to manipulate the situation so that the attention would be off of you calling your lawyers, getting the paperwork ready, and instead the attention would be on him and he would be a victim." But at the time I didn't know that and the people around me didn't know that. And so that's part of why I am so interested in raising awareness because, as you are saying, and I completely agree with you, the more I talk to women who've experienced this, the more I recognize that those women have bright, beautiful lights. The type of people that are often targeted for those sort of domestic violence, coercive control, that spirit of control, domination, manipulation targets some of the brightest, most beautiful spirits that are meant to do amazing things in pushing our collective consciousness forward. But those spirits are very much in danger. And we would be lying if we didn't say some of those people's earthly missions were cut short early. Women are literally being killed every hour. And these people have these powerful missions that are sometimes being terminated by these negative forces. And so my prayer is that our consciousness will be raised and more and these wonderful lights will be able to shine.
Yeah, definitely. I think, sometimes the lower energies, they can sense this beautiful bright light. So then they're like, oh,
Yes.
want to hold this one back. But that's why we need to really discover our own light within us, see our power, see our worthiness, see our richness, see our gifts, the abundance. Our true nature is
Yeah.
abundant. And I think when you try, I know it's so hard when you're in these situations, but if you try every day to get into alignment, as alignment as much as you can, then the solutions come, the solutions to those challenges, to those problems.
Absolutely.
They will drop in, and it's about finding those little tiny steps to really to get that clarity of the next step. But so this is the kind of thing, the kind of work that you do. So are you kind of the next step? So people can
100%.
come to you.
100%.
Yeah.
So I just want to give an anecdote about what you're saying because that's exactly what happened. So I'm there on the ground crying, pleading for God to deliver me from this situation. At that moment, I knew it's done. 15th anniversary, I knew we're not getting to 16th. It's done, it's done, it's done. So then I started trying to figure out how to get out. This is more practical, but it's going to go to the point you just made. So I start going to divorce lawyers. Divorce lawyers say, Amma, you can't, all of this is in my book, so please read it. They said you can't leave the house with the kids because that's kidnapping.
Oh,
So, and I was not prepared because I was afraid of a medical emergency or I was cautious because the first two times a medical emergency happened. So I said, I don't want I want to take my kids away. And the lawyers are like, no, you can't, that's kidnapping. So I go to church and the pastor preaches a sermon in which the pastor says, stop worrying. God will solve your problem in God's secret place. So I then start adding that to my prayers. I say, God, I need to get out this house. I want you to solve this in your secret place. So I spoke to my dad and said, Daddy, I want to move around the corner. My parents lived around the corner, but my mother passed, unfortunately. I want to move around the corner. I'm leaving this marriage. He's like, not really saying much. Then one day I go visit and I overhear my ex calls him, ring, 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 ring. And my ex, who I was still living with, and I was still married, but in my mind, he was my ex, and I knew I was leaving. He calls my dad and says, Amma and I are having problems because of the renovation in the house. And I know if I get Amma and the kids out the house for 2 months, I'll finish the renovations. Now, these renovations have been going on for over a year. And it was just part of a nightmare. And the renovations were a part of the problem because I asked him not to renovate. and he just would do it without my permission and just leave me in the dust. And when I told him I didn't want it. But anyway, that just goes to this coercive control. But he says, can Amma and the kids come around the corner and stay with you for 2 months while I finish the renovations? There's my out. The secret place has been solved. He is the one asking that we leave. That was 2.5 years ago. We left and we never came back. The solution just literally appeared. So you just gave that anecdote that, hey, once you realize what's going on and you get into your higher consciousness and you're connected now strongly to the divine, solutions will appear. These toxic individuals, these negative, lower vibrational individuals, they are harvesting the power of others, and then they want to present themselves as source. Your whole mission here is to recognize the divine is the source, not them. Think of all of the people who are staying in misery, who are being exploited, who are being abused because they think that record label manager is their source. They think that casting director is their source. They think that whoever it is their source. That man, that woman, whatever. They are not your source. Get deeply connected to the divine and solutions will appear. Do not get lost in the shuffle. The divine solutions are there. And so how am I helping women now? So of course, the book outlines an entire process and it's a workbook. So there are breathing exercises. There are journaling exercises. I put in QR codes for them to watch the videos that all give that I would say give us pieces to this puzzle. So I take readers through a journey of 1, understanding these covert forms of abuse, the silent treatment being the main one. 2, grieve the relationship. You wanted a fairy tale, you got a horror movie. It's time to grieve. But number 3, go through your past and recognize what is it in your past that primed you for this? What is the cultural conditioning that primed you for this? Because very often we are repeating childhood wounds. We are repeating our parents' marriages. We're repeating what we've seen culturally. It's time to acknowledge that. You said it's time to confront that conditioning. So that's the 3rd part. The 4th part is getting into the present and harnessing all of the spiritual, financial, psychological resources to get stable, because this abuse destabilizes us. Let's get stable in the present. And then the 5th part, envisioning a beautiful and bright future for yourself. And so the book walks people through all that. I will send you the link to the school account where people can read the book for free. But where the beauty really comes in is that my staffing company is staffing restorative justice circle practitioners to lead community groups of not more than 10 women every week in a beautiful hour and a half where women share what's coming up for themselves emotionally. But then also each woman is committing to a better future. And every week we ask what that person is doing. So it's an accountability and mastermind group. Someone in the group is working on her PhD. And it's taking her 11 years. So it's taken a while. So she wants to really start, ramping it up. But the toxic relationships are distractions sometimes. People are looking for better jobs. People are writing books. People are creating production studios. Like that energy of being with other women who have experienced this, but are saying we are up leveling. We are using this as a catalyst for our growth, our development, our financial abundance, our freedom, for the healing of intergenerational trauma, and the benefit of bloodlines. And it's a beautiful experience every week.
It's amazing. I love that because you're showing that there is support out there. You don't have to do it alone.
No.
When we say get into alignment, yes, that is very important. That is something that only you can do within you, but that it doesn't mean you don't have support. There's support out there for you. And that's such a beautiful thing. I love hearing stories like that. Super interesting when you were saying that the pastor said, don't worry. And that is the challenge I find is, like sometimes when you're in those lower emotions, those lower energetic frequencies, it's so hard to snap out of it. So there are a lot of tools and techniques out there now to get you back into alignment, even like a 30-second reset, affirmations or, meditation or visualization, you're saying,
Yes.
actualizing, feeling like, where's my next step? Who do I really want to be? What do I feel like when I have that abundance? I have that wellness. I have that safety, that comfort.
Yes.
I have the financial freedom. What would that feel like? What would I wear? How would I
Ooh,
walk? How would
how
I
would I show up?
myself?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So have you got like a technique, like one of your favorite techniques for getting back into alignment or for grounding yourself, or like, do you do something in the morning or
Oh, okay. So my morning ritual. Oh my goodness, my morning ritual. Okay, so my morning ritual. First, I pray. I pray a lot. I start with just, praises, gratitude. Then I plead for forgiveness for my sins and the sins of the ancestors. I name some of the sins that I know about. Then I engage in affirmative prayer and thanking God for everything. I thank God for my health. I thank God for my wellness. I thank God for taking care of my children. I thank God for taking care of all my girlfriends. I pray for all the mothers in my life. Then at the end, I pray for the world. I send love to Congo, that they get the Ebola crisis under control. I send love to my parental homeland of Ghana. I send love to Iraq and Iran and the people of the Ukraine. Like when I know like places and current events, I send love to all of them. So I do that prayer. After that prayer, I do the whole Opono meditation. Divine Creator, Father and Mother, Child is one. If I, my relatives and ancestors, have offended you, your relatives and ancestors, in thought, word, deed, and action, from the beginning of our creation to the present, we ask your forgiveness. So I do this prayer. So I do this prayer 10 times every morning in an ancient squat. And then I bless myself. I bless myself from the crown of my head, bless all my body parts. I thank my uterus for giving me two beautiful kids, and I'm asking for a third. I haven't met my husband yet, but what I mean, because I want a girl. I'm like, uterus, you've done it for two. Do it for one more when I meet my real soulmate husband. I bless my ovaries, I bless my entire body, and then I go and give blessings to my children. And I just imagine them. I bless my kids. I do a whole blessing. I do that every morning.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. It really does make a difference, just showing yourself that kindness, like
Yeah.
your appreciation and gratitude. Yeah, it really does. It heals the cells and it puts you in alignment, and then it opens you to receiving, to the good
Yeah.
things, for sure. I mean, you can see, like, when I've done certain different trainings and we had to watch, there was that, is it the Masuru Emoto? I always get his name wrong.
Oh,
Yeah, the
the water
Japanese
experiment.
water guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's just about, being, when you can see the difference, when
The
you're being kind
crystal
to
forming.
water. It's the same,
Yes,
our body
yes.
is mostly
We're all
water.
water and energetic.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that experiment because that's part of the reason why I really, and I'm so grateful to be doing this podcast because the higher consciousness community needs to be aware of the harms done by toxic energy. If plants respond better when they're being spoken to lovingly, I'm a human being who was for 15 years was experiencing that toxicity of someone not talking to me and someone emitting negative energy towards me. And we know from that water experiment that it literally harms you. So when people are like, again, this is important. When people think that they can just only be in, for lack of a better word, la land, everyone's beautiful, everyone loves me, everything's great, blah, 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 blah. Recognize that it's like putting an ice cube in hot water. We're energetic people. So part of your work as a higher consciousness person is to cut off negative ties, negative energies that are not feeding you, that are not aligning you. It's like, don't be so focused on it, but think of it like germs, right? We don't think about germs all the time. We still wash our hands when we come in. We still make sure that, we are feeding ourselves well so that our body has higher immunity. And we're not going around playing in dirt and then putting it in our eyes because we're aware the germs are real. We're not focused on them, but we have enough awareness to protect ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Yeah, we also had to watch. I remember there was a video about plants,
Yes.
where there was a college, or were they college students? I don't know how old they were, but they had one plant where they had voices saying, you're amazing, you're beautiful, and the plant was growing so incredibly, and then the other plant, they were being really mean and cruel to this plant, and it just started dying, and it's so fascinating how words are real forces. And I think that's another thing is if you're not kind to yourself, then if you believe in the law of attraction or cause and effect, you're going to start attracting people that aren't kind to you as well. It's so important to value your worth, show yourself love and compassion, because if you're not loving yourself, the world is going to reflect others that aren't kind to you. And I think sometimes we don't love ourselves because we've had so much pressure put on us that we're not good enough. At school,
Yeah.
it's like, well, you didn't get the highest grades, so you're not good enough, or you didn't clean your room, so you're not good enough, or you didn't put your dish away, so you're not good enough. It's all these little things as
Messages.
well
Yeah.
start adding up, and it's like, I'm not good enough. So then you start to attract people that say, oh, well, you're not good enough. And then you start to believe it. And it's crazy when you start to observe it and you think, wow, why did I believe that I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't worthy, or all of these negative things that have come into our mind, our thoughts. Yeah. So, I mean, like we said, though, it is good to observe it, because it's not all rainbows and butterflies. It's like,
We have to be aware. And I would say this, I'm so grateful that you brought up the topic of self-love, because I thought of myself as a self-love advocate. So the book that I'm promoting now is called Silence is Soaring: Heal from Chronic Silent Treatments, Toxic Relationships, and Abuse. Before that, I was a celebrated children's author. And my book, my first children's book that is a bestseller, is about self-love. In the story, the creator creates a beautiful world with the sun, earth, water, and wind, and then creates 4 children to take care of the world. The sun child with kinky hair that grows toward the sun, the earth child hair that grows toward the soil, the water child hair that flows like water, and the wind child hair that blows with the breeze. And the creator says, "You're all my children, made in our image, made in my image." So they're doing dances to make the sun rise and set, put nutrients into the soil, make it rain, and to make the wind blow. Until one day, all of the children realize the sun child, the only one with kinky hair that grows up, not down. And either out of confusion, jealousy, or envy, they start teasing the sun child. And the sun child takes a stick and starts beating every spiral of hair to make it straight. But when the last spiral of hair becomes straight, all the sun child's hair falls out and the sun disappears. And darkness befalls the land. And they all look at each other and so I performed this story at schools with like drumming, and I'd be dancing, so much fun. So I was literally going around telling this story about self-love. Meanwhile, I was being abused. Now, I want to make it clear how this incongruence occurred. I think we need to talk about self-prioritization. I thought I loved myself because I said nice things to myself. I called myself beautiful. I got dressed and looked nice. And I generally, was a functioning person. But my self-love did not incorporate self-prioritization because I was there willing to commit to an 18-year prison sentence of a horrible, abusive, sex felt life diminishing type of marriage because I thought that was going to be best for my children. That's not self-prioritization. And just like the diet that's best for eye health, right? So my eye doctor gave me this diet, and the diet was like lots of greens, avocado, walnuts, salmon, water. The best eye health diet is actually also the best heart health diet and the best lung health diet and the same atmosphere that allows you as a woman to grow beautifully and happily is the same atmosphere that allows your kids to grow. Later on, I came to the shock of my life in realizing that it's harmful to stay for the kids, that cultural conditioning was completely wrong because multiple reasons. One, children live what they learn. I was repeating the cycle. If I wanted to break the cycle, I could not live in it again. So that's number one, repeating the cycle. Number two, they feel the energetic horror. The children don't even know that they're different from their mommies until they're like 9 months to a year. And they don't really start disidentifying until age 3. They were absorbing all of that. And a abusive father through the silent treatment is actually worse than a father that physically hits his wife or kids. Why? Because hitting someone acknowledges that they exist. Ignoring them is actually worse. So I came to this crashing, horrible realization that I had made such a wrong decision. And of course, I pray every day on my children. Of course, I've gotten them therapy. Of course, I'm trying my best to heal myself and heal my vagus nerve so that I can experience healing of the ancestors in the past and healing of future generations. I'm working on that. But I say that to say your self-prioritization is your children's self-prioritization. The world is not conditioning us to believe that, but go look at the research that they're not publicizing. A mother's emotional well-being is the most important factor in a child's health
Mm.
and development.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It takes such strength to come out of these things as well. It's like this kind of loop that has been created, these trauma loops, these ancestral loops,
Yes,
and it's so brave, so powerful to step into your own, to just even just observe, start off with observing and say, hey, I I deserve better. And that just, I always see like the whole kind of, it's like these timeline collapses of healing those ancestral wounds as well by you just even giving yourself, 2 seconds of love and compassion, because it really, it really does help heal the DNA. And then as through quantum entanglement, everything is still connected. So, I mean, a lot of this stuff isn't even ours, and we are these strong, powerful souls that have come in to collapse these
yes,
old ancestral lines. So,
yes, yes,
yeah, and I
yes,
love that. And
yes.
like, I mean, some of the things that have happened are just, we could be, we are disappointed, and it's not what we want. But now we can say, okay, we need to offer compassion and love to all of those that have been affected. And now what can we do now to step into this beautiful new space that we have? There's this new
Yeah,
offerings, these new solutions,
yeah,
these new, like, just, the compassion and kindness that we can share now is so beautiful. And just step into our knowing, our power.
yes.
Step into our light again, because once we take our power back, those lower entities or energies are just going to start to they'll just start to
Please,
dissolve. They'll just be like, no,
absolutely,
yeah, not entertaining that
absolutely.
anymore.
No, yes, and you said, you said a great line where you said when you realize you deserve so much better. we get to the point where we say, yes, we deserve so much better. Therefore, we will not tolerate any less, because you don't get what you want. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you tolerate. So to step into your own authority over your own life and say, this I will not tolerate. And everything changes. I had never blocked anyone prior to my divorce. Then all of a sudden I realized, oh, we're not aligned. Block. In other words, I blocked two people since going on the journey, which never even occurred to me before. But you have to recognize, you are just so precious, and your divine assignment is so precious. And when you recognize that something is not serving you, and you recognize that it is diminishing you, it's time to cut it off. Not in a mean way, but it's just like in the truthful way. Like, this is not for me. Goodbye. Because you are precious. They say we pick our parents. So we come here on these divine assignments, right? The bloodline, according to the Bible, the intergenerational curses last 4 generations, while a person of integrity blesses the bloodline 1,000 generations. So you said that the first generation, four generations before you, may have caused the harm, and all of these generations were not fixing it. No one was coming in to fix it, to end that loop that you were just discussing. You have that opportunity. Seize it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I want people to know that they're not alone, for sure. You're not alone, and you are supported. There's so much support out there. And I was actually talking to a guy. We go to a sauna and swims
Sauna
every
together.
Sunday. It's super fun. And this guy said to me, he said he's lost a lot of friends because he's kind of like his friends and family, because he has actually shifted and he's trying to be a lot kinder to himself. And a lot of kind of friends and family weren't kind to him. And he's kind of changed everything that he's been doing, and now he's coming to saunas. But he said he was feeling really lonely, and I was like, well, look at us. There was like 8 of us in the sauna chatting to him. I was like, you're not alone. And I think sometimes when people shift out of the
Yeah.
negative, kind of environments, they can feel like they don't have anybody. They've lost their friends.
They've lost a community. They lost a part of their community. I
Yeah.
completely get it. And there will be a transition time. And there's an actual part of my book where I discuss this. Because in getting a divorce, you're losing a huge community, because there were like those mutual friends. And this was like crazy. At the time, I had moved around the corner, but my mail still went to now the house. My ex bought me out of it. And I went to the house to pick up mail. And I saw a card by who had been mutual friends. And instead of the card saying to, the family or whatever, it listed my ex and my 2 kids with my name left out. And I remember having this feeling of like, oh my goodness, this whole community is lost, right? This is going, all these in-laws, all these individuals, but in a world of billions of people, trust God to bring new people who are aligned into your life. There's no reason, in this world, that anyone should be lonely. Like, these are the mysteries. Well, we don't know what the mysteries. The lack of love is probably the big problem. But there's tons of food that's wasted, yet some people are starving. There are clothes that are literally piling up in my parental homeland of Ghana, which is the used clothes capital of the world, where the Western countries dump clothes, and now literally fish are eating clothes, and it's getting disgusting. It's an environmental disaster. Meanwhile, they're naked people, right? So it's hard to comprehend these things, but there are billions of people in the world. There's no need to be lonely. It's just a matter of time until you find your tribe and thrive. So I feel him. I understand him. My mother died of COVID. My mother's 2 best friends, my 2 godmothers, passed away. Then my uncle passed. Like, in a span of 5 years, I felt like so many people were dropping. And in addition, those same 5 years, I divorced my ex, and all of like the friends that came through him, gone, don't speak to. So I relate. But I have faith that me, him, and whoever else is going through this transition, we will find our tribe and thrive.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, our soul tribe is is here for sure. And I feel like I just more and more keep coming in now. But I do often tell people it's quality over quantity now. You know, you don't need huge amounts of friends and family anymore. You just need some just supportive kind of loving energies around you now. And I do find if you are kind to yourself, then even just, you know, going for a walk or going to the supermarket, people will smile at you or say hi, and you can just chat to any random stranger.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, smile around, especially for women. Smile around and free stuff will come your way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely people, but people are like, oh, like, you know, here and there, some days when I feel extra smiley, oh my God, people just give me, and I mean, not just creepy men, like women will be
Yeah.
like, oh, let me just give this to you. Because you're just smiling and you're happy, and they're just so happy to meet a happy, smiley person.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, you know, like if we all come into alignment when we can, even like it's a daily reset every day. Every day is an
Yes,
opportunity to reset. So
yes,
when we're in alignment, this is when the solutions come in. So like you were saying, wow, all the so much of the clothing in Ghana, that's wild.
nightmare,
But I got
nightmare.
told that it would only take two billion dollars to feed the whole world, you know, to set up a system that would feed the world. And that's
Really?
two billionaires. Two billionaires. You know, like we've got these systems, all
Wow.
solutions, every solution has already been created.
Wow.
It just if we're not in alignment with our true selves, then the solutions get rejected or they get, you know, they don't get
Mm.
received.
Um,
So
I think that there are two things at work here. I 100%, I'm not shocked. That means that, and there are people, we have a trillionaires, right? So it really does not take much
mm,
to literally solve the problem of starvation. But the reality that I want more of us to understand is people who are interested in control, domination, and manipulation are happy that some people don't have food
mm,
because that makes them desperate to comply. So the prayer is that, what is the prayer? The prayer is that those of us who are aligned, who believe in peace, who believe in harmony, who believe in prosperity, who believe that everyone deserves clean water and food to eat, that one, we elevate so that we can enact these solutions, but that two, also, we become sovereign over our own energy so that negative entities are not feeding or harvesting our energy for their control, domination, and manipulation. Because again, there's no need for war. Like, why is anyone at war? Like, these things boggle the imagination of those of us who love prosperity, health, and happiness. We're like, why are people going to war? Why are people killing each other? Why are people starving each other? Why are we? But there are some individuals who are interested in chaos because chaos gives them a feeling of power, and that is where they have a feeling of power instead of feeling power through alignment to the divine. It took me a long time to realize the game, so to speak. But now I realize it and I'm exposing it. And I hope all of us will become aware. These problems are manufactured problems. They're manufactured problems. I was watching this was during the beginning of the Ukraine war, where someone made a comment. He said, when you're at war with someone, your goal is to make their lives as miserable and as inconvenient as possible so that they will bend to your will. This was like someone on CNN who said this. And I nearly fainted. I had to just sit down and think about that because that is what's going on. People are manufacturing hardship so that others will comply to their will. It's very, very sad. And again, what is my prayer? That more of us who are God's children, who are submitted to the Most High, who are aligned with love, peace, and harmony, that we come into our own power and we are sovereign over our own energy so that we can create a new earth of peace and harmony and love and not chaos and destruction.
mm. I love how you're talking about being sovereign. Like sovereignty is so important. It's about taking responsibility for how we feel. Take our power back. Be
Yeah.
empowered. Because it's only like the smallest amount. This reality is only very small when you compare it to the whole divine
Sure.
reality structure. This game is only small, and these beings, these individuals, don't have power unless we think
No.
they do. They're actually using our power to
Yes.
power this reality. So
Exactly.
why are we
They are
giving it to
harvesting
them?
our energy. When you realize that, it's like game over. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
to
see ya.
it's completely different. I
Yeah.
when I had to go through this awakening process. So again, I still lean a lot on Christianity because it's available. But I had to like say to myself, Amma, in what other areas of your life are you being controlled? The sun is setting here, so now I have this nice glow. Anyway,
I like
like
it.
what other thing? So now I say Mother God, Father God, because I'm like, Amma, there's no way on earth God is a man. This is just not possible. God is everything.
Everything.
God
And
expresses in the female form, in the male form, in
mm,
this form, in that form, and God expresses as a beautiful tree and as a beautiful flower, and as this and as that. Like, so like when you start changing, so saying Mother God and Father God, and then in researching about spirituality, there are many spiritual teachings in which there's only one force, and that is the God creative force. But there's that manipulation. Just as God gives us the power to have our arms to hold and hug people and nurture them and love them and feed them, people can also use their arms
mm,
to push and punch and harm others. And so we are interested in the positive harnessing of our energy instead of allowing our energy to be harvested for harm.
mm. Beautiful. Yeah. Wow. What an exciting time, eh? Taking our power back. We've got this. We can do this, people. Honestly,
Amen.
don't give up. And, to everybody out there, do not give up. You've got this. There's always going to be somebody here to support you, and go within as well. Get in touch with your inner soul, your inner source, your inner guidance. Like everything's within us.
Yes.
We have everything. We have all the
Yes.
answers, all the clarity. It all comes within us. I like to tune into my heart. I find, that's where my source
Yes.
is like my heart
Yes.
tells me. No, it's really, it excites me hearing from people like you that have been through all of these challenges, but you're like, no, I'm not putting up with this. I'm I'm standing in my true light now, and now you are passing that down not only to your children, but to others. And I can see the ripples through the ancestors as well, that the DNA is kind of lighting up, and it's like it's reactivating. And I'm seeing that the happy water. It's like the happy water, the little, it looks like snowflakes when you zoom in on a microscope, and
Yes.
it's like they just look, this little snowflakes, the happy water looks so much more vibrant and alive and excited, and kind of, yeah, reconnected as well.
Yes.
It's This world was kind of full of distortion, and we thought,
Yes.
we just thought we weren't good enough, or we thought, like our hair. I mean, I didn't like my hair because it was straight. I got a
Really?
I got a perm
You
because
got a
I
curly perm.
I got a curly perm when I was about 12 years old, because
Wow.
I didn't like my straight hair. I mean,
Oh, oh,
how
oh
isn't oh, we've lost
my
okay.
goodness. Some
I
people are bleaching their skin, some people are tanning their skin. It's like, can we just get deeper into the truth of who we are?
oh, I know. Honestly, I
It's
know.
lunacy. It's lunacy. It's lunacy. It's like, my goodness. Like, this a book I haven't read yet, but people have been telling me about, by this doctor who was a plastic surgeon who just changed his career because he said what was needed was not plastic surgery, but psychological help.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, come on now. Can we get a grip and just realize how amazing and beautiful and precious we are and not mutilate ourselves and harm ourselves because of these. Like, there's a movie, I have not watched it yet. It's a documentary about someone who spent, it might be $20,000 to change his eye color from brown to blue.
Oh.
But there was a risk in the surgery that he wouldn't be able to see. And I'm there like, the purpose of your eyes is to see. How could anyone risk surgery to
That's
change his
insane.
eye color?
That's how distorted this world's become, that we don't look at how our beauty, we don't look at how incredible we are,
Yeah.
so it's time to shift that.
Oh my
We obviously chose this human suit, that this is the one that we wanted to be in, this.
For this
Let's enjoy
expression, for
it.
this expression. So why exactly? Thank you. I'm like, oh, somehow, they say we choose our parents. So, I was in heaven somewhere and I decided to be born a Black woman of Ghanaian parents. Let me put on my African wrap and let me enjoy this iteration, right? This, this beautiful body as we enjoy this. You chose it for some reason. You forgot the reason, but reverse engineer.
Yeah,
I figure it out.
exactly. Oh, I love that. We really need to appreciate ourselves. And, we're also unique, and it's just beautiful. It really is. Yeah. Oh, it's been amazing talking to you. So so can people book in with you, or do they, what do
Yes,
they
yes,
do?
yes. I will. Absolutely, absolutely. I will send, and I hope you can put it on YouTube and wherever. Anyone, male or female, the book is on Amazon. Silence to Soaring, Heal from Chronic Silent Treatments, Toxic Relationships, and Abuse. It's a 35-day program. You just read okay, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people are like, oh, I really wanted to read. So they read it first because they wanted to read the story, kind of a story, like my memoir kind of aspect of it. But then they go back and they do it, assignment by assignment. So this book is available on Amazon. It's available wherever books are found. Silence is Soaring, Heal from Chronic Silent Treatments, Toxic Relationships, and Abuse. You can go to my website, amakkarikari.com, AMAKKARIKARI.com, and you can go to the website and you can get the book by joining our school community. And I'll send the link also to the support groups. I'm really just praying. I'm doing a support group in an hour and 15 minutes. I pray more people will join. Trust me. Trust me. The experience will be like none other. I've run circles at colleges and other places, and I've said afterwards, how do you feel? Do you feel seen and heard? And I remember one young lady at John Jay College said, it's the first time I've ever felt seen and heard. It's a beautiful experience. Come get your first circle for free. Be supported. Have people checking in with you for that hour and a half every week, making sure that you are okay. We pay money for our kids to do piano and ice skating and this and that. This is your extracurricular to be supported. The website for that is soaringsistercircles.com, soaringsisterscircle.com. I'll give everything to Josie, and I can't wait to see you.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I love that. Just shining your light and, just helping others shine their light too. And yeah, it's amazing how you were saying about people not feeling seen and heard, even though there's apparently billions of souls here. How can we not feel seen and heard? So it's beautiful to be able to open that space now. It's time to be seen. It's time to be heard.
Absolutely.
And step into your power. Don't let those lower energies take your power any longer. We are not feeding the old system anymore. I mean, we're doing it. You can see the old system is collapsing. So hang on in there. I think a lot of it now is people are so used to the old system. They're so used to the nervous systems really being heightened. So they're almost too scared to let go of the old, because it's kind
They
of
don't know what else is out there.
going. They don't know. And
Yeah.
it feels, some people have said to me, they feel a sadness. It's almost like when they release all of the old and they actually have like a clear space, like there's more
Mhm.
room for new things, but they feel a sadness because they feel like they're empty. But it's
Yeah. Yeah,
not,
yeah.
sometimes they're not actually empty. They've just cleared out so much of the old. So now
For
they're
new
ready for
beauty.
the new,
Yeah.
but they don't know where to start for the new.
There's this
Uh,
transition that feels like, it feels like my book. It's like you realize what's going on, the grief. But
mm,
again, we have to have faith for that gap, for
yeah,
that space of gap, that we will create beauty and meaning in it.
exactly. I love that. Oh, it's been incredible catching up with you. Thank you so much. All the way from New York at night
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Now we really see like the difference in our
Yeah,
time zone.
I'm in the future, you're in the past.
Yep. It's Wednesday for you. It's
Yeah.
Tuesday night for me, but we're
Yeah.
vibing. All good.
I love it. Oh, thanks. You're incredible. And I'll put all the details below for everybody to check out. So
Thank
thanks for joining me.